Backlash 2023 has been and gone. We've got the results. The World Heavyweight Championship tournament members have been announced. A certain WWE superstar is frustrated with the company, and we have potential spoilers ahead of Monday Night Raw tonight. All this and more on the main event. Hello, I'm Toby King and welcome to the main event. Backlash 2023 has now been and gone, and safe to say the Puerto Rican show was absolutely fantastic. I will happily give it an A in my review. So much for a B-rated pay-per-view, and we're going to talk about some of the results, so if you don't want any spoilers, please skip ahead to this section of the video. If you're not, well, welcome in. Bianca Belair ended up defeating Io Sky in one hell of a women's title match that made Io Sky look like an absolute dominant force, which is about time on the main roster if you ask me. Seth Rollins beat the Giant Omos, and if you remember my predictions video, I went and said he would win with a top rope stomp, and then come back for the big win with something crazy like a huge stomp. Maybe off a turnbuckle, that would be awesome. And look what happened. I might be sidekick. Austin Theory ended up retaining the United States Championship against Bobby Lashley and Bronson Reed in one hell of a match, and Bronson Reed was really the star of this. Rhea Ripley obviously beat Zelina Vega, but Zelina Vega looked like a top draw in Puerto Rico. She even got her flowers at the end of the match. Bad Bunny defeated Damian Priest, which potentially could be a match of the year contender. This was sports entertainment at its bloody finest, if you ask me. Absolutely incredible. We even got a return from Carlito and even Savio Vega, which, wow, that was awesome. The Bloodline surprisingly beat Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn and Matt Riddle, and if that's the end of the story arc between all these, then I feel it was it wasn't really that good if you ask me. And in my opinion, with a big surprise, Cody Rhodes beat Brock Lesnar with a roll-up. I bet Simon Miller is super happy right now. All in all, it was a great show. The pacing was fantastic top to bottom. We got some really great surprises. We got some fantastic moments. And they better start running Puerto Rico again because this was absolutely awesome. That crowd was hot fire. What should be hot fire as well is the World Heavyweight Championship tournament, which is starting tonight on Monday Night Raw. Last night, WWE went and announced the 12 competitors that will be taking part. We have 6 from Raw and 6 from SmackDown. The Raw superstars taking part are Cody Rhodes, Seth Rollins, Finn Balor, Damian Priest, Shinsuke Nakamura, and The Miz. I think it's really surprising seeing Cody in this tournament due to the fact that his rivalry with Brock Lesnar is blatantly not done. Plus, he did say he didn't want anything to do with this title, and if he goes and wins this tournament, it doesn't feel like he's really finishing the story. On the SmackDown side of things, we have AJ Styles, Edge, Bobby Lashley, Rey Mysterio, Austin Theory, and Sheamus. I think it's really surprising we see Edge here because he is a part-timer, and he'll openly admit that to you as well. I feel like he could go to the finals here, or potentially AJ Styles. I kind of would like to see this start a rivalry between Austin Theory and Edge, because we could kind of continue the Austin Theory legend killer gimmick all the way until Orton potentially returns. I personally feel from this tournament, Seth Rollins has to win on the Raw side, and yeah, either AJ or Edge on the SmackDown side. I think personally I'd like to see Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles a lot more at Night of Champions, but this is WWE. They control their own narrative. This could go completely left field and none of them might be there. There might be surprising things happen. I think one thing that is surprising with this is the lack of Solo Sikoa. I think a lot of people had booked the idea into Seth Rollins versus Solo Sikoa. I also think it'd be interesting to see potentially a SmackDown star win, and then we have the SmackDown superstar win the World Heavyweight Championship and be drafted to Raw, and then Cody Rhodes wins the title, and then Cody Rhodes takes the title to Raw, and the World Heavyweight Champion who's from SmackDown, who has the title on Raw, would then be drafted back to Smack. It's very confusing and I'm already talking myself out of it. This is a stupid idea. One person who isn't in the tournament, surprisingly, is Drew McIntyre, who is said to be very frustrated with WWE. We haven't seen Drew since WrestleMania 39 in his triple threat match with Sheamus and Gunther, which was arguably the best match of the year so far. Per Fightful Select, it has been said that there was said to have been frustration in several situations of not being on the same page with WWE. McIntyre, who is usually told about draft plans ahead of time, was one of the several left out the loop until he was announced as a Raw talent on television. There have been several perceived miscommunications between Drew and the company over the past couple of years. Then the report goes on to say that McIntyre has been very hesitant towards certain situations with storyline, especially if he doesn't think it makes sense, which would be very interesting to see how that goes, since people believe he is going to be coming back as a heel when he returns to Monday Night Raw. It would be interesting to see what happens with Drew right now, because there is a lot of stories coming out. And finally, we have some potential spoilers for Monday Night Raw tonight. Per Fightful Select again, it has been noted that there is numerous missing posters with Becky Lynch's face been printed out, and this kind of makes sense because on April 17th, Becky went and said that she wouldn't be at Raw today. This was just after Trish Stratus had turned on her after they lost the tag team titles. We haven't seen Becky return to TV, which could be for many situations. It could be to do with family life. She could be a bit shattered because she does put the work in. It could be to do with her getting a TV role. We don't really know, but Trish Stratus has been carrying this rivalry the whole time, with her coming out in her old gear and doing a great heel promo to just the little nitbits they have each week on Raw. Be nice to see Becky Lynch return. I mean, these missing posters could go up and, you know, we could see Becky still return on the main show. It could be a big build for a big conclusion. I still think they're going to drag this on for a good while. It probably won't end till SummerSlam like speculated, which I think is perfectly fine. I mean, we saw Trish get drafted. If she was only sticking around for a little bit, we definitely wouldn't have seen that happen. But as it comes out, we'll report more on it. Let us know in the comments what you think about the news. Let's hear what your Backlash reactions were. Who do you think is going to win the World Heavyweight Championship tournament? We should have another news video up today, but I've been Toby King, and I'll see you in the main event.